Hi, Sherry Feasel here. I just come to you all the way from Panama, kind of, because that's where we're soaking up the sun right now. So thankful for Norwex offering us those kind of trips and incentives, and it's just, geez, such a great experience being with Norwex. I was asked to just talk a little bit today about the checkout process, how I do it, and give you any just ideas and tips, I guess. So when I set up for my party, of course, you're setting up your display and your products and how you're going to do, your boards and order forms and all that in a different area. There's a couple of mindsets as far as staying in the room with everybody versus going to a separate location. Some people think if you stay in the room, maybe somebody who's deciding to order the mop will rub off onto somebody else who's gonna, oh, you're getting the mop, then I'll get the mop. I think of it a different way. I think that that's a private time for them to say, talk about what they're buying and how much they're spending. And I go to a different area because I think that's the right thing to do, but everybody has their own technique. So when I'm setting up, I ahead of time take my host folder and my date book and my calculator, and I don't like to use my phone. I like to use the actual calculator. I don't know, just feels right to me. And so I set these things, I pick a spot in advance and I set these things and my iPad sometimes in case I need to look something up on the website. But I put these in the kitchen, kind of rearrange if I need to, the food or whatever, so that I have a little spot there that I call my checkout spot. And then when I finish my party, I make sure that I'm available and I'm answering questions. But then I make a mention, when it seems like everybody's sort of got their early questions answered, that I will be, whenever they're ready to start ordering, I will be out by the chip dip or whatever. And feel free to come and share with me what you'd like to order. And if you have any questions, I can hear you from there. And so just give me a holler and, I'll come back in. And then I just sit down over there with the first person, and then they just seem to come, or maybe sometimes they say, oh, whoever's next, I'm done. And they come out to me. And you always want to have your date book handy, because when you have done your 4-question close and you've asked them if they yes, no, or maybe I'm booking a party, you want to have your calendar right there. I do recommend a paper calendar. I do mine with little sticky notes at the bottom. Everywhere I want to have a party, there's a sticky note. And then when somebody wants to book that date, they can easily see what I have available. And when they book the date, I put their information on the sticky note. If something would happen and they would need to reschedule, it keeps my whole calendar clean, because then I can just peel off the sticky note, move to the new date that we agreed on, and put the new sticky note there. That's my method, but you always want to be able to be ready to book the party with them. And in my folder here, I have a closing form that I like to use. So I take this with me, and every host folder has the picture of what packages they're going to get. I think you can get this off the Healthy Homes files. I've updated mine a little bit, so it says like a free window cloth with every booking and stuff. But I go through this at the end after I've seen all the guests. I go through this with the host, and I let her know this is where you're at so far. This is where you need to get, another $102 to get the next package, how many buying guests and all that stuff, so that when I leave the party, she knows where she's at and what her goals are to try to hit the next level. And I also leave her with the picture that fits with this, like of the packages and everything, the host rewards picture. So she keeps those two, and then I take the rest of anything that's left over home and recycle to use again. Or if it's been written on recycle, in the recycling bin. If she's ready to close her party that night, I am too. I have my form here for her host items that she'd like to select. Most of the time they want to keep it open for a few days, so that's another good reason to have your calendar handy, is to say, well, what day do you think you'll be ready to close? And then you jot that in there on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, call and close with Dorothy. That way you're making a commitment, and you're keeping that commitment by setting that date with her about when you'd like to close.